In the scene, a small dump truck was reversing, but because the brakes were not applied in time, its rear wheels went straight off the edge of the roadbed. The truck is now stuck in place, unable to move, and the vehicle body could fall into the field pit at any moment. The driver also doesn't dare to move recklessly. At this moment, a bulldozer working nearby slowly approached. We still don't know whether it came to help or simply to continue its regular work. Just as the bulldozer reached the right side of the truck and lined up parallel with the cab, the thing the dump truck driver feared the most still happened. The soft ground collapsed, and the dump truck followed the loose soil, sliding together into the pit. Although the camera cannot capture the driver, we can imagine that his heart must have been in a panic at that moment. The dump truck flipped over in an instant, sending a huge splash into the water trench. Children playing nearby heard the loud noise, and all ran over out of curiosity. The driver immediately climbed out through the window right after the accident, and once he climbed out, he didn't jump to the bank right away. Instead, he stepped onto the truck bed and started saying something to the bulldozer driver. However, the dump truck driver became increasingly agitated. He began pointing at the bulldozer driver, pointing while talking. From this scene, everyone can understand. The dump truck driver believed the bulldozer came too close, which caused ground vibrations, leading to the collapse and the accident. From my point of view, the bulldozer operator handled things properly. He didn't seem like he came for rescue, but was simply doing his routine work. He probably didn't expect the dump truck to overturn. Do you think the bulldozer driver should be held responsible? When the camera shows the underside of the truck, we can see that the water tank is severely rusted, and many other parts of the chassis are heavily yellowed with corrosion, showing that this truck is quite old. Experienced elders of the road may lend their eyes to discern this matter, to see what lineage this carriage truly hails from. When the driver had finished arranging the belongings within the cabin, he then climbed out. At this moment, a fully laden dump cart emerged upon the left side of the scene. The driver stood beside it, fastening the steel rope, in principle, relying solely upon a single earth hauler. To rescue this fallen dump car was a task of great hardship. After the driver secured the rope, we could see the steel rope drawn tight like a bowstring. Yet for the rope had touched the ground at many points. Thus, in order to grant the rope a more suitable path for pulling, the bulldozer driver began clearing the road's surface. As the bulldozer was leveling the ground, a truck-mounted crane hastened toward the site of misfortune. From the scene one could behold, most dwellings in this place were built upon stilts, much akin to the houses of our homeland's minority tribes. It must be said, the young rescuer perched upon the crane's arm truly possessed great courage. The carriage swayed to and fro, yet he did not descend. Were he flung off in an instant, his head would surely bear to new lumps. When the crane arrived at the scene, the bulldozer driver was still leveling the earth. Once the ground had finally been made even, the crane began its preparations for the lift. But as the lens stood too distant, its specifications could not be discerned. Those knowledgeable may share their insight as to whether this crane could complete the rescue by its lone strength. When all preparations had been completed, the rescuer bound the steel rope to the main beam To gain greater pulling force, the crane operator began retracting the boom, thus commencing the first attempt at pulling. Yet, the crane operator had overestimated his own strength. The first attempt yielded no effect. He had wished for the crane to directly pull the stricken carriage upward, but lacking sufficient power, the rescuer thus altered the method of lifting, fastening the steel rope to the right side panel of the cargo bed. Thereafter, the second round of pulling began. Yet the effect of the second rescue was not apparent, for a great amount of earth still lingered within the carriage. Thus the second rescue was forced to halt. The driver and the rescue lad began clearing the carriage. All seasoned drivers understand, if the body is held fast by mud without absolute pulling force, it is exceedingly hard for the vehicle to break free. When the remaining earth within the carriage was cleared, the crane driver commenced the third round of pulling. However, the effect of the third rescue was still far from ideal. Thus the dump truck driver once again attempted to pull. Since manual clearing consumed too much time, and no proper tools were at hand, the crane driver, though the clearing was not yet finished, still initiated the fourth round of pulling. Compared with previous attempts, the fourth rescue showed a marked improvement. With the crane's aid, the dump truck slowly began to right itself, but for lack of a pre-reserved space to allow the overturned truck to stand upright, its chassis became stuck upon the slope, rendering it unable to settle properly. Thus the rescue lad had no choice but to begin another round of clearing by hand. When the wheels touched the ground, the rescue lad tied a steel cable to it, fastening it to another fully loaded dump truck. Thereafter the rescue truck charged forward, while the crane provided upward lifting force. At this moment we can see clearly, the main force of the rescue had shifted from the crane to the dump truck. If the dump truck could not pull, then no matter how high the crane lifted, it would be in vain. Thus, a second dump truck also joined the rescue. 3 dump trucks were linked together with steel cables. 2 of them charged forward with combined force. All expected that this pull would succeed in bringing the wrecked dump truck up. Yet as the crane stood aside not assisting, the overturned truck lost its upward support. Its rear body was again held fast by the mud. The 2 rescue trucks struggled greatly in pulling. Thus the crane once more returned to aid the rescue. At last, with the combined strength of all three rescue vehicles, the overturned dump truck was at last rescued from the backfill pit. In the end, two questions remain for all to ponder in this mishap concerning the dump truck. Does the bulldozer driver bear any responsibility regarding the rescue process of these three machines? If the full score were 10, how many points would you bestow?